Hey everybody, David here, and today I want to talk about Superman and Lois. The series just had its series finale or season finale recently. Let's not jump that far ahead, but it had its season finale, and let's talk about it because really it's the first season, and personally I think out of all the Arrowverse shows right now it is the best one, which makes me really sad because there was a point where I really loved the Arrowverse, and I feel this season with all of them has been tough, and this is the only one that actually managed to be really good this season. I like Flash and Legends. I like Supergirl. Batwoman, I have very mixed feelings about. But Black Lightning, I missed this season, and I know it's on Netflix, but now knowing that it was the last season and they didn't put it on Netflix right away, it made me just be like, meh, I don't feel like getting to it. I will eventually, but I feel like it's homework right now. Especially the way all the rest of the Arrowverse has been this season. It's like, I don't know if I want to spend another time. But this is the show. This is the show that I really hope next season, because they're coming back for a season 2. I really hope that they knock it out of the park again next season, because this is the show that, like, I was like, okay, let's check out the newest episode of Superman and Lois. As soon as it was up, I was excited to check out the newest episode. And the CW has a tendency to drag out their shows. They don't know when they should end it. And 15 episodes, I think, worked pretty well for it. I am someone that loves the character of Superman. Superman and Batman are my two favorite superheroes. Something I was worried about, how are they going to make this show a little bit different? And I did feel the family aspect of this show really, really worked well. I think it brought a new dynamic to Superman that we've never seen before. We never seen Superman actually be in a family. We've always seen him for so many years in many movies and shows where Superman was always trying to get Lois's attention. Smallville kind of opened the doors to getting Superman and Lois working together and letting Lois in on Clark's identity, which Man of Steel then adopted and used in those movies. Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, Lois knew who Clark was. And I like that this show gets that out of the way right from the get-go. And mostly that's because this Superman and Lois were already established in the Arrowverse in Supergirl, right? Tyler Hoechlin, I did a very popular video, one of my higher viewed videos, where I didn't like the idea of Tyler Hoechlin playing Superman. I wanted Tom Welling back. And Tyler Hoechlin eventually won me over as soon as that episode aired, teaching me once again, this is why you wait and see how that actor is. After you see them, then you can criticize. Because Tyler Hoechlin won over a lot of fans, including myself. So getting to see him in the Arrowverse more throughout team-ups and such, Elizabeth Tolik was introduced during one of the Arrowverse crossovers. It was the Elseworlds crossover. And then both of them came back for Crisis on Infinite Earths. And they were both really good. I thought Elizabeth Tolik was so much better in this show than she was in her introductions in the crossover events. This show really used her right and showed how great of an actress I think she is. I think she is right now my favorite version of Lois. And I love Erika Durance from Smallville. She was fantastic too. She was playing a different kind of Lois Lane though. She was still that tough, hard nails kind of reporter that would do anything to get that story. And I felt like this Lois was even better. Not to knock any of the past Lois Lanes out. I think a lot of them were really great. But I think Elizabeth Tolik right now is my favorite version of Lois Lane. I think she was fantastic. And then you got the two kids, right? Jordan and Jonathan, who I wasn't too sure about in the beginning. There were avenues taken with them where I was a little worried because it is the CW, and the CW, it always tries to gear a lot of their shows to a teenage audience, a young adult audience. We were all young adults once, so I grew up with Smallville. I was their target demographic, target demograph back in the day, right? So, but once you get past 35, they don't really care about you anymore. And I'm 38, so or yeah, I turned 38. Yeah. When you start forgetting your age, that's when you should start getting worried. But yes, Jordan and Jonathan, I thought were handled really well. I think I like Jonathan. I like in terms of how grounded he is, and he doesn't. There were a couple of episodes where it seemed like he cared that Jonathan had powers and he didn't, but they kind of fixed that problem early on. It was handled the right way. Jordan, I was worried that he was going to be very crybaby-ish throughout the whole season, but thankfully he wasn't as he didn't turn out the way I thought he was, which is good. I thought the two teenagers were handled really well. The relationship between Jordan and Sarah, I thought was really cute. It kind of echoed back to when Clark and Lana had a relationship, and I really did like that Lana was an integral part to this show. I really enjoyed seeing Lois's father being more involved. The twist that I didn't see coming with this show is that Sam Lane knew that Clark Kent was Superman and was working with Superman from within the government, which I thought was pretty clever. An episode that I really enjoyed as well was the episode where Diggle came, because that was the first real big Arrowverse connection. Of course, if you follow all the Arrowverse shows, you know that Diggle appeared in all of them. I think the only episode we haven't gotten yet was the Supergirl episode, because Supergirl was delayed for a bit. So when Supergirl gets back, we'll see that one last Diggle episode that David Ramsey appeared in. But I really did like the production value in this show as well. It really did feel like you could feel that this show had a bigger budget. But the problem with the CW, again, that I'm worried about future seasons going forward, is that I'm scared that the quality will diminish. Because when the CW keeps a show on for long, if you go back and watch the earlier seasons of Arrow and Flash and Supergirl and Legends of Tomorrow, those budgets felt pretty good too. This one feels like it's even more than those shows, but those shows had pretty good quality in the beginning, and then a lot of them, you feel the quality start to diminish a little bit because they're not getting the same... from my understanding, as a show continues to go longer, their budget gets lower. So, and you can feel that as those shows go on. You can feel that Flash and Legends and Supergirl, they don't have the same budget that they did early on. And it's because the first season is supposed to grab you right away. They throw as much as they can at it. And then as the show continues, and hopefully they continue, that it will be successful as long as going forward, that the ratings will always maintain or won't drop as much. But it's going to drop no matter what. And if you lower the budget on these type of shows, especially when you're going to compete against the Marvel Cinematic Universe shows right now, you're going to have some strong competition now going forward. And I'm not saying, look, you have to have these really big budget shows, but make sure your writers know what they're doing, and make sure the showrunners are taking care of this show and maintaining it into what we loved about it from the beginning. Know when to let go of characters when they need to be let go. Now, there was something at the final episode, what they did with Sam Lane, the General Sam Lane, Lois's father, where they had him step down as general and he's feeling like he's retiring. Does that mean that character's done? Do they have no more plans with that character? Because if they don't have plans with that character, then I'd rather they let him go, walk into the sunset, and just bring him back to guest star when they have a story idea for him. I don't think it's right to keep characters that you don't need anymore. I think certain shows have suffered because they kept a character longer than they should have. And because they like the actor so much, they don't want to lose that cast member. But sometimes maybe it is for the best of the show. So we'll see. Like, I really did love John Henry Irons too. I almost forgot to talk about him. He was such a great addition. I loved how they tricked us in the beginning that it was Lex Luthor, and then it turns out, no, he's actually John Henry Irons, aka Steel, and he had a different backstory where he was in love with Lois from another Earth, because he came from another Earth where Superman was evil. And it did confuse us at first because, well, wait a minute, Lex isn't black. We seen him. He's played by John Cryer. So how could this be Lex Luthor? And then when you learn that the computer ship the ship belongs to Lex Luthor, but he's John Henry Irons and he just reprogrammed it to work for him. So it's been calling him Lex all this time. So he's actually Steel, a character who was last seen played in live action by Shaquille O'Neal back in 1997. So that was really cool that they found a way to bring this character in, because it was a character I said should have been since Supergirl. When they started making Jimmy Olsen into a superhero, I said, this doesn't feel like Jimmy Olsen. This feels like Steel. It should be Steel. And it looks like somebody must have heard me, because they must have said, you know, this David guy, he's smart. We should bring in Steel into the Arrowverse. And so Superman and Lois turned out to be that show, which makes more sense because he is a Superman character. So he came from the Doomsday storyline. So it makes sense that they would bring that character into a Superman and Lois series. I hope we get to see some more Superman and Lois characters. You know, Jimmy obviously was a part of the Arrowverse. I don't know if Makad Brooks wants to come back to the Arrowverse, but it would be cool to see him pop by in Superman and Lois and interact with Tyler Hoechlin and Elizabeth Tulloch, since we never really got to see too much of that interaction with those three. He didn't even appear in the flashbacks that Jimmy Olsen should have been there. They could even hired a younger actor to play him in the flashbacks, but whatever. But I thought the show was great. I think it was a great show. I hope it maintains its greatness going into season 2, because right now this is the best Arrowverse show, easily, this season at least. Overall, maybe I'll do a ranking video of all the season 1s of the Arrowverse, so that way we can have a more fair competition, because I'm telling you now, when I rank all the Arrowverse seasons after Supergirl's done, I'll do a ranking of all the seasons this season. And I'm going to tell you right away, Superman and Lois is number 1. So with that being said, guys, tell me your thoughts. Have you seen Superman and Lois, and what did you think of it? Did you enjoy it as much as I did? Do you think it's the Arrowverse show right now that's to watch? Do you even still watch any of the Arrowverse shows? I still watch them. I even suffered through Batwoman this season, which was like, I think I'm done with the show. But they set up Poison Ivy at the end, and now I'm like, I do want to see Poison Ivy in live action, even though Gotham did her, but whatever. I am curious on how they'll turn. Maybe I'll just check out the first episode to see how it turns out. And if it's what I'm expecting, then I'm done with that show. Flash, Legends, and Supergirl. Supergirl's obviously ending this season, so I'm going to finish that one off. And Flash and Legends, I've stuck with them for so long. I'm going to stick with them till the end too. But Superman and Lois, as long as Superman and Lois stays good, that's all I can hope for. And I hope they know when to end the show when it needs to end. Don't drag it longer than you need to. So with that being said, comment below. I want to plug in my Patreon supporters. These are the people that support this channel. I say this at the end of every video because I have to, because they get a credit at the end of every video I do, because they pay a monthly subscription fee where they get a $5 tier or a $10 tier, and then they get a credit at the end of every video, like you're seeing right now. Right now I have 4 Patreon supporters, awesome Patreon supporters that are very, very supportive. And yeah, actually I decided to do the Superman and Lois review because one of my Patreon supporters asked me if I was going to do this. And I said, yeah, of course I will. So I didn't know if I was going to do it today or tomorrow or whatever, but it's finally up. So I'm happy to have it up. And look, if you can't donate, I get it. We're all in struggling times right now. But what also helps the channel is liking every video and watching every video I post up and sharing a link to this video or any other video I post up and letting people know about the channel to help me grow, to gain more attraction to the channel and to build a community. I want to interact with other fans like myself that want to nerd out about these things. And of course, if you follow me for a long time, I'm a fan of Marvel, DC, Pixar, Disney, a lot of the nerdy things that every other nerd is into. I'm probably one of the biggest nerds out there because I love Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, even Star Trek. I'm not the biggest Star Trek fan, but Star Trek is a cool franchise to me. I haven't seen all the series, but I've seen all the movies, and I get why a lot of people like that franchise. I am watching Picard. Picard is probably... I did watch Picard season 1. That's probably the only Star Trek series recently I have seen. I wanted to see Star Trek Discovery. Anyways, before I get too nerdy and talking about all the things I watch that doesn't matter to this video, like this video, subscribe to my channel, help me out. And with that being said, everybody, take care.